All right, welcome back. Here we have our 94 C4 Corvette that Kurt here has actually brought up here for me to take a look at.
There's a lot of pressure on here.
Okay, got mine. $13 smoothie, 2 rusty nuts, the ambulance, the welder. What does that mean? Kurt, why don't you come over and tell us about your vehicle here?
Absolutely. So we have a 1994 Corvette LT1 and competition yellow. I picked up about 2 years ago. Okay, so I wound up picking up this car right on the Oklahoma-Texas border at a tiny town called Bonham, Texas. It was a Dodge dealership, and I don't know if they exactly knew what to do with this car. Now, as I said in my other Corvette videos, the C4 prices are in the toilet. They stink. So I literally, tax, title, and license, got out the door with this car right around $8,200 for a rear-wheel drive V8 sports car. I think it was a deal. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the LT1s are pretty good motors. I like them.
Yeah, so it's got a small block 350, and I'll go ahead and pop the hood for you, and you guys can see what's going on under there. Now, RJ, you worked on a lot of small block 350s, is that right?
Yes. Mostly doing fuel injection conversions on rock crawlers and Chevy trucks.
When I got this car, it had around 82,000 miles on it. The cosmetics on the outside are what really, really drew it to me. The competition yellow with the black interior and the black top really drew me into wanting this car. And I have to be honest, I really never liked Corvettes. Especially the ones that came out in '84. But around '92, '93, they started updating them, just like GM does, and they wound up with a really, really cool product. So you'll see here that we've got our small block 350. We've got a massive air filter here, which was very, very easy to change. And one thing that I liked about this car, or kind of what drew it to me, and you can kind of touch on this, RJ, is when it comes to my 300ZX or my 3000 GT, there's not a lot of hand room to work.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yep.
And you almost need baby hands to work inside of there. So between the reliability, the ease of parts, and the easiness when it comes to working on it, it was one of the main things that drew me to this car. Now, RJ, tell me, what's your experience with the 350 small block?
You'll have to elaborate on that. So I've gone from rebuilding them to rewiring them to changing intakes to Frankenstein parts to stroking. I mean, you name it.
Gotcha. But overall, they're a pretty easy platform to deal with, would you say?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah, really easy to work on. Parts are extremely affordable to get, and the availability is just beyond anything else. You can go to any parts store and get parts for your truck motor.
America.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the hood and take a look at the interior. So what do you think about that driving position?
This is actually pretty good. The only real hindrance you have is your visibility in front.
Right. That was one of the big shockers when I first started driving the car. Coming from my 300ZX, you can literally see the road right here. But if you notice, you've got this gigantic piece of fiberglass between you and the front of the car. And I gotta tell you, when it comes to parking this car, it is a big deal. Now, I had mentioned in my other videos that this piece of fiberglass is the single largest piece of fiberglass ever produced on a car. So when you think about the massive, huge front end, it really is there, and it really does appear in the form of the hood. Okay, so earlier, RJ got a chance to drive the C4 Corvette. Tell me what you thought about it.
It was actually really smooth, and you get the most torque between 0 and 30.
Yeah, you definitely do. Now, I was a little worried when buying the sports car that I was going to get a real rough ride. But what's your opinion on that?
This ride's actually probably better than the Z, I would say. A lot smoother. It doesn't beat your kidneys up.
Right. And now, although this does only have 17-inch rims on it, what you're going to notice in the 90s was just look at how much fat tire you have between your rim and your tread. What you really have to keep in mind is that that fat rubber tire really keys into your suspension. So what do I mean by that? If you're rolling on 18s and 19s and you've got little tiny thin tires, you're going to feel every bump in the road. You're going to feel every pothole. Sure, you're going to look good. Japanese girls are going to wave at you and blow you kisses. But in the end, it might beat up your kidneys, and by the time you get home, you might need to take a shower. So I like the 17s here because not only do they give you the cool, large 5-star look, but they also won't beat the shit out of you. Well, RJ just asked, what are the most annoying things that I don't like about this car? Now, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about the top 5 things I hate about my C4, or this is what broke on my C4, and really, I don't like to propel that type of negativity. Now, there are a few things that drive me knucking futs. Let's take a look at the first one. I mentioned this in my other videos, but it is getting in and out of the car. So let me show you what I mean. The car is so damn slow that unless you put your hand here or grab the steering wheel, which you absolutely don't want to do, you're going to fall down into the car. Doesn't matter if you're old, young, pretty, poor, rich, it doesn't matter. So let me show you what I mean. You also don't want to put your hand on top of the roof. So what I like to do is fall in, got my hand right here, close the door, but you're going to notice that I'm not putting any weight on the steering wheel. So that's the first thing that's annoying to me. Okay, so the next thing that kind of gets on my nerves about the car is the extremely low driving position. Now, my 300ZX, although it rides lower and will bottom out, the problem with the C4 Corvette is the seats are set so far down in under the dash, similar to a Firebird or a 90s Camaro, to where you're looking up over not only the dash, but the hood. So when you're coming in and out of traffic, it can be very difficult, not only for you to see cars, but for other cars to see you. So I highly recommend pop up those headlights, make sure everyone knows, and if that asshole truck driver gets near you, go ahead and give them a honk and a flip off. The last thing that drives me knucking futs about this car is changing the battery. Now again, I've gone over this in a couple of my other videos, and I hope with RJ's help to make an in-depth video of how to change this battery. But let me show you. You see this panel? Looks like a beautiful piece of body work, doesn't it? Well, guess what? It's not. It's the battery compartment. So let me show you what I mean. So to change the battery, got to pop that hood. Now, we'll notice over here that we've got a torque screw here, torque here, and a bolt. So this panel actually has to come all the way off the car. And you can see people have changed this battery before and not exactly lined up the fiberglass properly. Now, this is kind of a property or problem with fiberglass over time. It will sag, it will degrade, but it won't rust. So you have to take this panel off, and then I've heard some people take off their ECU here and lift the battery up and out. Well, I'm not taking this off, I'm not taking this off. But this panel is going to come all the way off, and the battery is going to slide all the way out. Now, one very, very important thing. Don't go to Walmart and buy your battery posts on the side of your battery, because the panel will not go back on there. Now, this is such a pain in the ass to change the battery that I actually leave a battery tender hooked up to my car 24/7. I never have to worry about jumping in the C4, going to pick up my girlfriend, and my battery not working. So this battery is 618. I expect, and I've read on forums, that people who charge their battery regularly can get up to 7 years of battery usage out of their car, which is good for the environment, good for your Corvette, and good for RJ's psyche. Sounds like a NASCAR, don't it?
I love how smooth it is. My biggest pet peeve is those cherry bombs and stuff they put on there.
Oh my God, the glass packs.
Yeah, I like how smooth this is.
Yeah, when I took it over to Mid-Cities Classic and they got it up on the lift when they fixed the transmission leak, the speed sensor, oil leaks. And they're like, yeah, your exhaust is Borla and it's stamped like 96, 98.
Wow.
But they went with the stock. These are stock. The aftermarket ones are all one piece.
Okay.
Yeah, she sounds like a monster, doesn't she?
Yeah, I like it. All right, Kurt. Well, thanks for bringing out your vet, and can't wait to, do some mods on it.
Heck yeah.